welcome to Sitecore Standard Values. I am your host, Rick Bauer, Director of Customer Transformation at Sitecore. In this podcast, we continually seek to provide deeper insights into the value of Sitecore as a solution to business problems. With regular episodes from me in the US and from my counterpart, Sultan in the Netherlands, we will alternate to bring you a variety of guests to share their global perspectives and experiences through a rich tapestry of discussion, opinion, and thought experiments. My guest today is a repeat guest. He is Jonathan Corley from Sitecore. I'll let him fully introduce himself again in a second. And we are going to be doing a repeat of our now becoming annual top 10 of the previous year in technology as it pertains to Sitecore. So Jonathan, why don't I let you introduce yourself and please expand on our topic today.
Thanks, Rick. Jonathan Corley, the Director of Experience Strategy on Sitecore's Customer Transformation team. I've been with Sitecore since 2017. I'm an Atlanta native. I'm passionate about music and emerging technologies. And you can follow me on most social platforms at Jonathan Corley or visit my blog at personalizedcx.com. But thank you for having me on the podcast again. Had a lot of fun last year talking about the top assets for Sitecore marketers and digital experience strategists. And Happy New Year! We're recording this right after the New Year, but it's a good chance to look back and reflect on some of the top published resources and assets across the web that might be valuable for a Sitecore or digital marketing strategist in 2024. So with that, let's. I've got a list of some of my favorites. I'm sure there's more than 10 out there.
There are definitely more than 10. It always becomes a trick to choose from them. This was a lot of fun last year, so we just figured let's make this a regular occurrence. So I think last year I may have gone first, so I'm going to pass that baton to you this year to please pick your first in the top 10. In no particular order, by the way. These are
the first one is an article, former colleague of yours, DSF at Perficient, David Sanfilippo. This was published on CMS Wire. It's called Mastering Personalization in Digital Marketing. Mm-hmm. I've actually seen it referenced in a few other places, but I thought it was a really thoughtful exploration of personalization. And it also talks a lot about the decision-making process or the evolving nature of personalization strategies. So he goes on to describe McKinsey's decisioning gap or the McKinsey 4Ds framework, which are crucial for personalization, but also has a conceptual model that he built out, which applies to Sitecore's new personalized and CDP offering to really get started with personalization. I think that one, it's up at the top of my list. And if you haven't read it, I would highly recommend checking that out. I know we're going to have all of the links to these assets in the description below.
Indeed. Yeah. DSF always, he puts out a lot of content and it's always very worthwhile to read. So absolutely.
And, right. And this one, he does, talk a little bit about personalization planning as well, which it's a lot of great content, a lot of articles out there about the tools or the features or what Sitecore Personalized does. But I liked this quote from the article. David says, "Begin with the end in mind, with a vision and a blueprint of the desired result. This principle holds even truer in the realm of personalization in digital marketing." But it's a lengthy read. It's a good one, though.
Yeah. And he's also a technology person that gets and believes in the strategy aspect and really ties that together. So I saw the presentation that you and it was Megan Jensen he did at DX Summit. And that was again, really thoughtful. All right. I'm going to pick on a former Sitecorean, Chris Nash, and probably not pick on isn't the right term. I'm call out and in a positive way. Really, this is more just of a general comment. Chris Nash has always been a huge advocate around analytics and the importance of it, as and tying that in with Sitecore. There, he has a product, a co-founder of an organization called Relevant Edge, and this year they set up a web tracker that integrates with XM Cloud, Sitecore's flagship composable CMS, and Power BI to provide really component-based integrated analytics. So this one just always stands out to me because analytics is such a key in really making your marketing solution sing when it comes to omni-channel what's the insights, I should say, really being able to look across your omni-channel ecosystem and start to put the puzzle pieces together. Without good analytics, you're going back to old school marketing and just going by your gut. And the whole point of all the digital landscape is to not have to do that. And I think Chris and Niels from Relevant Edge do a great job of going out and evangelizing around all things analytics and providing that power and capability through what they're bringing to the table with Relevant Edge.
Nice. I saw him present, may have been the same thing on one of the Sitecore Smack the Strategy webinars. Was it the same concept?
I don't know that I saw that one. I know he was speaking, but I don't know if that was one of, a customer example that he was using, but he's just, I know that he set out this in 2023 to tie in with the composable offerings and succeeded, in some areas, and is continuing on. So I don't think there's any place that they're not going to touch with the tool. It's just a matter of, picking things off one at a time. So.
Cool. Yeah, worked with Chris Nash, was a former colleague on the SBOSS team, and it's always a pleasure to collaborate with Chris. I'm always interested in what he's up to.
Yeah, smart man.
Next one on my list here. It's outside the Sitecore space, but I think it will impact every product. It's a video called GPT in 2 minutes. It's by Dr. Alan D. Thompson. He's out of Australia. It's a really simple introduction to GenAI, or generative artificial intelligence. If we look back 12 months, OpenAI released a variant of GPT-3 or ChatGPT, and within 5 days, there were 1 million visitors. Within 2 months, there were 100 million users of ChatGPT, and this space is just moving so fast. I like this video because it's really easy to understand. It's really approachable, and he speaks in plain English about how really powerful large language learning models like GPT function. If you're really interested in keeping up with the space, I would highly recommend his newsletter, which is called The Memo. It's a weekly newsletter, and it's a really good way to stay up to date in the space.
Cool. I'll play right off of that one. And this actually wasn't in my list, but you made me realize I'm missing a major piece. So I'm gonna just do an audible here. And this was something James Gray from Sagittarius. He put together an ultimate guide to generative AI, and it is a multi-page. Again, we'll put the link in the links below. But it was a really good 101, 201 guide to generative AI. So this is something where, if you are trying to everywhere from trying to explain to a family member generative AI to some tips and tricks on configuration and considerations when and how to utilize and pitfalls and things like that. So it's a really good, like I say, I'd call it goes beyond 101, but it's just a really good absorbable piece of content. So, I suggest checking that one out, reading it cover to cover.
Yeah, we both, it was right after a workshop in London. We met James over near, for drinks and happy hour over near the old Sitecore office near St. Catherine's Dock. But the that ebook, it's like 60 pages long, and it's a feat. It's impressive. I really
Yeah.
liked he has the 10 commandments for prompting, and just this catalog of a ton of example prompts that really do come in handy.
Yeah. Excellent.
All right.
You're up.
Next one on my list here is the Content Hub DAM maturity model. This is I think it's a recording. It's on YouTube. It's a recording of a video by Tiffany Laster at SubCon North America.
Yeah.
And she calls it the best DAM maturity model, but the DXMM, or Sitecore's digital maturity as it relates to different dimensions, is certainly top of mind.
Yep.
As the customer transformation team refactors, reinvents the digital experience maturity assessment. But I really like this. The model emphasizes a few core areas like strategy, people, process, technology, and impact.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a nice presentation. I think this was at the Minneapolis SubCon, which I missed. Didn't get the chance to attend, but again, top of mind as we worked on the DX maturity assessment.
And Tiffany's digital asset management analytics, the analytics piece of that was in my top list here. So her name was also one that I picked out. And again, just playing off of that analytics piece, she also dove in about, the importance of operational and organizational analytics around your assets and content. So it's really Tiffany I basically was her lead at one point way back, and she's a very smart individual and really dove in headfirst on all things Content Hub and beyond. So great to see. I'm not surprised you picked that as well. So I will. I'm kind of finding like these little connective the connective lines here. Christine Bookless also had drinks with her at that same table in London, but I really loved, and this is a little more a little less technology, more business, but it's fully related and very important. And there is a podcast episode on this, so if you look in, and I'll just link to that episode at the end of this, but we did a whole episode on composable and sustainability, or ESG, and how all things sustainability apply to going composable. Efficiencies gained by and stability in your business by being more flexible and nimble, being able to quickly upskill and reskill, and being able to basically maintain that, ride that technological wave, while keeping a strong commitment to your social responsibility. So it's a good episode, and I just really thought her take on all things sustainable and how it relates to composable architecture is informative for businesses that are looking to really ramp up in that space.
Nice. Yeah, the cultural dimension or piece there of X maturity is absolutely at the forefront there. Next one on my list is Brian Bishop's. There's a few videos. It was tough to pick one. I selected Sitecore Connect in a bidirectional sync between GPT, DALL-E, and Content Hub. So Brian posted this proof of concept last February, really early on, using Sitecore Connect to tie GenAI into the content creation process. And I think I've seen both DALL-E and Midjourney connected in that environment, but it was a no-code integration. So just configuration, point and click using Sitecore Connect to begin generating content or images for marketers that are prompt-based and really increase the efficiency of content creation. So it was the first proof of concept I saw tying everything together there. And he's made a lot of progress if you keep up with more of those videos. But this video down in the links is a good place to start.
Yeah. I've been paying attention to what Brian's been working on. It's incredible. And I think back to my days as a creative director and, being just working as a designer in an agency. If you could go in and you can't find the image you want, you just type what you want and then it generates it. And to have it then stored in your asset library, that's super powerful. So, yeah.
It was hard to, I had to be really intentional about focusing on other areas, other resources that didn't involve generative AI. That space just moves so fast this year, and it's changing the way that developers work. It's changing the way that content marketers work. For folks that are embracing it, it's making all kinds of disciplines a lot better at the work that they do.
Yeah, and we even have Mo Sharif on Sitecore's staff. That's his sole focus is, evolving AI, and he has a piece out there that's basically talking about, how to harness the power of ChatGPT to enhance Sitecore, and things like search, in asset management, in content management, and so I'm not going to count this as one of mine, but I'll just say in conversation, watch all things if you're interested in AI as it pertains to Sitecore. Definitely pay attention to what Mo has going on. Another one that leans a little more technical, which means I'm not going to fully be able to speak to it, but I know the importance of it. Agency Q built a XP to XM Cloud generative AI accelerator that helps convert legacy Sitecore components to the modern framework. So if it's .NET to Next.js, but this is, I'm not sure if that's the exact conversion or how it works, but I saw this from Megan Fishburne. She had that as part of something that she worked on, but I know that's more of an Agency Q wide program that they were putting together. And there's a few of these out there, and I think it's exciting to see the fact, that you can start to even not just content, but from a coding standpoint or a configuration standpoint, use AI to accelerate that process. So, if, where migrations used to be painful and why Sitecore has gone to the cloud so you don't have to migrate anymore, if you still have to do that one last migration from XP to XM Cloud, tools like Agency Q's Accelerator are worth looking at and saving some time.
Nice. I haven't seen that one yet. I'll absolutely check it out. The next one on my list here it's an article that was published on techradar.com. It was written by Davo Flanagan, who is Sitecore's chief product officer. It's called Securing Customer Data in the Age of Personalization. And it's a good read. It talks about balancing or the importance of a brand to balance engaging personalized experiences with privacy considerations.
Yeah.
And it's a topic I don't hear about a lot.
No.
We hear day in and day out the innovative ways that brands can personalize or A/B testing, that they can collect data and use that to improve customer experiences. But it is really important to build customer trust through security measures or through ensuring that you're meeting all of those, increasing these days with evolving privacy regulations. But it's a great resource related to personalization and privacy.
I had that one as a pick as well. So no, it's because it was such a consideration that it used to be like a later consideration, right? But I think it's become a forefront consideration just in the modern landscape. We got to start with thinking about security, thinking about, all of that when it comes to putting together a modern stack. I think we're over 10. that went pretty quick. So that's fantastic. Were there any other ones? Did you want to? Is there anyone that you just got to get out there?
I've got a list of them actually on personalizecx.com. There's a link below, but I have the top 20 resources for Sitecore strategists and marketers in 2024. So check it out.
Perfect.
I think last year we touched on like a television show or like anything inspiring movie or anything over the last year.
I am currently watching, and I'm actually current with it. All right, first of all, I started and finished Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I know that's not new. They did have a recent season, but it's 16 seasons. So over the course of the last year, I've made it through that. However, the one I was going to say is I'm currently watching season 5 of Fargo, and it is the one with John Hamm and Juno, and it's dark, but the writing and the characters are amazing. So it's just something that I'm enjoying.
That show Fargo doesn't miss.
No.
I think I'm an episode behind on that one right now, but it's fantastic. This year for me, The Bear stood out. It's on Hulu.
That's the other one I'm watching right now.
Family, or it starts off with Refused, Swedish metal band, but that was awesome. I can't believe you watched every season of Always Sunny in a single year.
Yeah.
It's a feat.
I mean, there were a couple days where it was just like a binge, and where you just like go, oh, I can't believe I just sat and watched 8 of those. But it's a feat to watch a season. But on occasion it would happen. But for the most part, it was just a slow and steady. When there was 20. I mean, the nice part is they're like 15 to 20 minute episodes without commercials, so you can get through it pretty quick. But yeah, and I have just started The Bear. I'm on episode 4, so I'm enjoying it. I really love the celebrity guests that are on there. Right now it's been Joel McHale and Molly Ringwald and all the just kind of, that's what got me interested. Was I kept seeing like the different guest stars that are appearing. Like, well, if the show's getting that caliber, it's got to be good writing. So far, I love it.
The other one I really liked, I know we veered off course of Sitecore, if you're still watching the podcast here. The other one was Jury Duty. It's on Amazon Prime. Have you seen that one?
I haven't. I remember you mentioned it, but yeah.
It's almost like what's the Jim Carrey movie where the entire world is like built around him?
Oh yeah, Truman Show.
Truman Show. Yeah. So a real person gets this jury summons in the mail in LA, and he shows up to court, and the judge, both lawyers, the entire other like 11 jurors are they're all actors, and they just, they throw everything at him. It's just absurd. All of the jokes or odd scenes that they put him in, and you couldn't have picked a better guy to be part of it. That one, I think a colleague shared that show, but that one stood out too.
All right. Well, once I get through The Bear, I'll add that to my list. Well, my voice is starting to go, and so that means it's time to wrap up this podcast.
Thanks, Rick, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, Jonathan, thank you, and thank you everyone for listening. Have a happy new year and a successful and healthy 2024.